A valuable lesson I've learned in the last few years as a writer, as an aspiring writer, and this may not apply to every other aspect of life. Your mileage may vary, as they say, but in my case, I've learned that perfection is elusive and often not worth it. And in fact, it can hold you back. It can slow you down, screw you up. Uh, the example that pertains to writing is if you try to get everything perfect, you may never get the book out, or it may take months. You may waste all this extra time trying to tweak every little detail, and those changes may not even be noticed or necessarily appreciated by the readers. And are you wasting all this time? Um, an example of the opposite end of the spectrum is a guy that I met at Starbucks in my town, and a very nice guy. But I would see him just banging away on his laptop, furiously banging away, writing away. And I finally one day I introduced myself and asked what he was doing. He said he's writing a novel, and he's been writing it for a couple of years, and he's getting there. And the guy had obviously some good background when he confided in me that he actually was involved with the drug trade from the U.S. to London, apparently, and I believe in the 1980s, and actually got caught and spent 5 years in a prison. Fortunately, a British prison. You know, I guess an easier 5 years than it would be in the States for sure. But he obviously has interesting stories if he's going to base it on those experiences, positive and negative, obviously. But then I'd see him, a month or two later, and I'd say, "How's it going?" And he'd say, "Oh, well, I reread the first part, and that's not working out, and I gotta shift it around." And finally, I told him, I hear this for enough times when I'd ask him how the book was going. I said, "You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna get this book ever published. You're gonna die." I just gave him kind of a little tough love. You're gonna pass away, and the book won't have been published. And then, what happens? A few months later, I'm in Starbucks. I haven't seen the guy in a while. I hadn't been there in a while, and I asked one of the regulars. They said, "Oh, he had a heart attack, and he's okay. I think he has recovered, and he's maybe back to writing." But the point is, he's trying to be perfect. And there's another guy, a squash champion, world champion squash player, who just retired this year, and he made an announcement just about a month ago that he's writing a book, sort of an autobiography of his career. Maybe he has to do maybe some instruction in there, whatever, some thoughts about life, this and that. And it will be out by Christmas. Just very simple. And obviously, part of the discipline the guy had to become the best in the world at his sport is now carrying over to the way he's approaching the book. You just lay it out, you get your notes, and you put your head down, you write it, and you put it out. You're not surprised that it comes out in a few months. No big deal. Somebody else, another ex-world champion from years back, similarly writing a book with a couple other people, and they've been working on that thing for years. Same exact kind of book, same sport, and that may not see the light of day. There's still issues because they're trying to get it too perfect. And the final thing, there's one ebook novelist, a science fiction writer who's popular. He's a nice guy. He helps writers, etc. And he's a big player. I think he's doing very well at it. He had a story where he was just getting started, and he wrote his first book. He really didn't know what he was doing. And he went into the K-Boards Writers Cafe, where you get advice on Kindle writing from the veterans. And he posted his cover and his little introductory blurb and I guess the first couple of chapters or whatever, and they shot him down, apparently, if I remember the story correctly. Constructive criticism, but he got shot down every which way, and he got so confused, he just said, forget this. And he just went back and he just hit publish. He just published it as it was. And it actually ended up being reasonably popular. But the thing is, he learned from that, and at least he had it out there. At least he had a presence now. He learned from that, got feedback from readers, and he went and improved. But again, you don't want to be too perfect, and I was always trying to be too perfect, kind of hanging on every single word. And some days I'd write 200 or 300 words, spend hours doing it. Now 2,000 words is fairly routine, and And I think what you might lack in perfection, you make up for in the fact that you're getting it out to the world. Okay.